So Jack Della Maddalena is fighting Belal Muhammad. Remember the name this weekend. Now, I did my video yesterday where I broke down who I thought was going to win the whole card. And I did, you already know my pick if you watched that video. You know who I'm picking to win this weekend. But I felt like I could have gone a bit deeper into why I'm picking Jack Della Maddalena so I don't just look like a biased Australian. So there is many reasons why I'm picking this for JDM to win. It's not just because he's Aussie, alright? It's not because I think Belal's boring or anything like that. It's just the stylistic matchup. Look at just... Let's go through Belal Muhammad's record real quick, okay? Belal Muhammad, very good fighter on a very good streak. He avenged his loss to Vicente Luque, but the thing with the Luque fight is people forget that fight was actually very close to being a Vicente Luque TKO. He hurt Belal Muhammad really badly, and I think it was in the later rounds. He hurt him really badly. Had him hurt, but just couldn't capitalize. And this is when Vicente Luque was starting to digress a little bit. He had a lot of wars, taking a lot of damage. It was before the Jeff Neal fight, so obviously the Neal fight happened afterwards, and then he had the brain hemorrhage, but you could see him deteriorating a little bit. The Stephen Thompson fight, dominates that one, yeah, and that was a very impressive performance. The Damian Maia one, very impressive performance, but Leon Edwards, the first fight, he was getting pieced up in the fight. Now, I know he avenged the loss, so you can't really use too much that. You can't use that against him. But he did get hurt a few times. He showed he's still susceptible to head kicks. Neal used that against him. Alan Joban hurt him with head kicks. The head kick has always been an Achilles heel of Belal Muhammad. The Lyman Good fight. This is like an interesting one. People have not watched this Lyman Good fight. I think this was Lyman Good's last fight, I want to say. Hasn't fought for 5 years. I think it is. Yeah, 5 years. This is his last fight. Got destroyed by Damian Maia, subbed immediately. Beat Ben Saunders. Beat Chance Couture. Lost to Alessio Zaleski by split decision. Very good fighter, but got dominated by Ben Askren. I don't know if it was dominated was the right word, but he got dominated there with the ground. And Belal Muhammad didn't really have much success on the ground against Lyman Good. He did show some good striking in that fight, but people haven't watched the fight because in that third round, Lyman Good was battering Belal Muhammad, jabbing him up, body shots, body head. He was doing all the stuff Jack does, but Jack does it better than Lyman Good. Lyman Good's older, not as good as Jack. I wouldn't say he's as powerful as Jack, not as precise as Jack. Doesn't have the foot movement, the footwork, all that sort of stuff. Now, Belal actually really suffered against this style, and it's always been a thing of Belal Muhammad that he suffers against fighters like Jack Della Maddalena, Jeff Neal. I know he's got very good takedown defense, and Jack, people say, well, Jack got taken down by Basil Fez. He didn't. He did? Okay, he got taken down. I'm not denying that. But only 2 or 3 times. The rest was Jack going for guillotines. And I think even the takedowns he got, it was because they counted those ones. It was because Jack kept going for guillotines. Very stupid, but he defended 19 takedowns. He's got good takedown defense. People don't know what they're watching when it comes to Jack. People think when Jack gets taken down, let's turn out to the other guy. They say, there's a Hafez win there. He got a takedown. That's not how you score the fights. It's about damage. Even Burns, people are he was up 2-0. Do any of you guys actually know the scoring criteria? Jack did the most damage in round fucking 1. I don't know why there's this big hate against JDM that anytime he gets taken down, what about that guy's round? People don't have this same mindset when it comes to people like Ian Gary gets taken down by Shavkat. They didn't count that. They don't talk about Ian Gary's bad performances against Darian Weeks, where you could argue Darian Weeks won a boring fucking fight. It was that bad, Darian Weeks versus Ian Gary, that it was actually arguable that you could give it to Darian Weeks because he did no damage. But no, people will talk about the Basil Fez fight that Jack clearly won and destroyed him. In Jack's worst performance, he absolutely beat the shit out of somebody and took their chin. Yes, he didn't get the finish, but Basil was never the same after the fight. His chin is deteriorated after Jack put on that bad beating. After 2 weight cuts. He was scheduled to fight Sean Brady. Then he was meant to fight. I can't remember the guy's name. He was like the muscle hamster or something like that. I think that was his name. Elias something, I want to say. But he was meant to fight that guy who ended up having like a brain scan. The fight got pulled after Jack already made weight. And then the next week, he cuts weight again, back-to-back weeks cutting weight. Like, that's not going to be good for anyone. And he still went out there, showed a great chin, beat him up. Like, his cardio would have been suffering, and that because of the back-to-back weight cuts. And he still went out there, and he was so much stronger in the third round. Like, people just have some weird hate boner for JDM. I don't understand it, but I'm getting sidetracked here a little bit. But Jeff Neal destroys Belal Muhammad. Not even close. Vicente Luque chins him in the first fight. Tim Means gave him trouble. Tim Means gave Belal Muhammad trouble. Now, I think Belal won the fight from memory. Well, he did win the fight, but like I think he won because it was a split decision. I'm pretty sure I gave it to him because I rewatched this fight. But Tim Means was actually giving him trouble. He's a boxer. Boxers are always Belal Muhammad's trouble. Yes, Belal Muhammad is a boxer, pressure boxer style, and he's got grappling. He's got wrestling. He doesn't have grappling. His submission games are very mid. Jack's actually got more submissions than Belal Muhammad, believe it or not. Jack's got 2, Belal's got 1. And I think his only submission was against, like, Takashi Sato, right? Yeah, and Takashi Sato was horrible. He wasn't a very good fighter. No offense to the guy, but he got destroyed in the UFC. He made Faremba Garimbo look like Habib. But yeah, like, look at these fights. Alan Jouban destroys him, drops him 3 or 4 times. Now, Belal's got hard, I'll give him that. He kept pushing forward in that fight. He got dropped with the hands, got dropped with kicks. He got dominated by Alan Jouban. And this is years ago. I'm not saying that, Alan Jouban dropped Belal Muhammad 10 years ago, 9 years ago, that means Jack's going to win. Obviously, I'm not using that logic, but I'm just saying he hasn't really got as better. Like, the whole narrative that Belal's this different animal now isn't true, in my opinion. I still think he's the same fighter that he always was. Yes, his body miraculously got more toned, muscly. He looks more athletic now that he's 36 than he did when he was in his 30s. Yes, that's a bit sus, I know, but that is the case. But I don't think as a fighter really much has changed about his game. But I also want to factor in he is 36. I think he's turning 37 in a couple months. I want to say, yeah, he's turning 37 in like 2 months. Belal has had a lot of cuts welterweight. You know, I don't think he has a problem making the weight class, but he is getting older. He pulled out against the fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov because of a bone infection, a bone infection in your foot. I'm not saying it's the same, but I get policeman's foot because I walk a lot. I'm an athlete. What can I say? Athlete's foot as well, they call it. And you feel very slow for weeks after you get that. I think a fucking infection in your foot, I think he's still going to feel that at almost 37 years of age. I get it was 6 months ago, but like I can't imagine he's going to have the same speed that he did against Leon Edwards. He also takes a lot of time off. That's something you got to work. Yes, he's winning the belt at like 35, 36. Very impressive. You know, we've never had a champion that old before. So, you know, that is impressive. He broke the 35. I mean, it's actually more under 170 because Tyron Woodley did it before. But, like, he does take a lot of time off. Like, Sean Brady, October 2022. Stephen Thompson, December 2021. Jack's fought that much times. And people are going to talk at Jack. Jack's been up for a year. He's so inactive. He was the most active guy in the division, but now obviously he had the bad broken arm and everything. So of course he's going to be out, but I think he's going to be recovered because he's actually taken a full fucking year off, and I think he's probably been working on, you know, stuff outside of his boxing and training and everything. You would think. Well, I do know, but like still, and yeah. So let's just look at it this way. Belal for Thompson 2021. He did fight Luque April 2022, so that's pretty active. But then, so that he's coming off to like 1 or 2 fights a year, so he's been very inactive. And at his age, he's not athletic. He's one of the least athletic guys. He's not got really much fast muscle fibers or anything like that. So he's never really relied on athleticism, which is why it's crazy. that he's been so successful. I think it is just because he does have heart and he does work really hard. Like, you got to give it to Belal. The guy has exceeded all expectations. He's not particularly super technical anywhere. He's not particularly super powerful. Well, he's definitely not super powerful. He's not super athletic. He's not very explosive. But he just makes it work. Heart and cardio is what he's got. But I think his cardio gets overrated a little bit. I think he's a workhorse, but I see people saying he's like top three best cardio in the UFC and stuff like that. I don't agree with that. He's nowhere near a Marab. A Marab is constant pace. I also think his wrestling gets sort of overhyped. Yes, he can get people down, but his control isn't the best. Leon Edwards was able to reverse him many times. He's not as top heavy as a Sean Brady is. Once Sean Brady gets you down, like it's very difficult to get back to your feet. But with Belal, he does very good against people who are going to try and wrestle him because he does have very good takedown defense. That's somewhere where he is very strong. Like, Belal is strong. He doesn't look it. He is very strong. But I think he's going to be getting... Like, his athleticism is going to get even lower. I know he hasn't had to rely on it or anything like that, but he is going to get older, so we're going to probably see him slow down. I think his speed... I don't know, on the embedded or the countdown, he was looking a bit slower. Like, post foot infection, I think we're going to see him come out there a bit slower. I don't think he's going to be as fast as he was against Leon Edwards. And I think he's going to be so hittable. And like, if he gets Jack down, I think Jack's going to be able to bounce back up. This is the thing. Jack maybe doesn't have the best initial takedown defense when you shoot, but he's a hell of a scrambler. He is able to get back to his feet. He has many unorthodox methods to keeping the fight on the feet. He's got Granby rolls. He's got all this interesting stuff you don't really see from many fighters. Like I wouldn't say it's new gen. It's just like judo type sweeps or judo type get ups, and he's got a lot of interesting stuff. But somebody like Belal, I think Belal is a bit weak to the body against Lyman Good. It didn't seem like he liked the body shots too much. I think Jack is going to really utilize those body shots on Belal. Belal's very stocky type guy, so you'd imagine like the body is going to be very, very... It's going to be like the danger zone for Belal. Belal gets hit the body. I don't think he's going to be able to take those body shots well. I also reckon if Jack implemented a bit of kicking, not going too crazy where he can catch a kick or anything like that, but I think throwing some kicks out there will be good, especially because I think Belal's movement is going to be... I don't know. I don't think his movement's going to be as good in this fight because of the foot infection and everything like that. He's getting older. There's just so much going against Belal here. Belal is obviously very good, and he can pose a lot of problems with Jack, but I think Jack's the bad matchup for him. People are saying, "Oh, this is easy. He's just going to take him down, hold him there." The thing with Basel Hafez took a fucking beating. And yes, Belal has taken many beatings like that before, but he hasn't won those fights. That's the thing. Joban beat him up badly. He didn't win that fight. Jeff Neal badly beat him. He didn't win that fight. The Lyman Good fight, Lyman Good was beating the shit out of him in the third round. If that was a 5-rounder, who is to say that Lyman Good wouldn't go out there and chin him? Like, Belal has this reputation where he's a guy, Belal, he does have a lot of heart, but he's like this reputation where... Shoot, man, Belal's so tough, he'll keep moving forward. He will, but he'll just keep getting bashed. That's the thing with Belal. Belal is very good. I'm not disrespecting his resume. He's got a very good resume in the welterweight division. But in the fights where he loses, typically against boxers, once he starts eating damage, yes, he'll keep coming, but he's not really like doing anything to win. Like, he is moving forward, but he is just getting beaten up. Like, yeah, he'll start to like maybe come alive a little bit, but we haven't seen him come back from getting like absolutely 10-8'd to go on to win a fight before. Yeah, I guess in Joban, I think he came back in the third round, had a good third round, but we haven't actually seen him come back and win. He just sort of holds on, maybe goes for takedowns, but he always does just to eat a lot of damage. And I think against someone like Jack, I think he's gonna have Belal backing up. Belal is normally the one pushing forward, but I think Jack will start to sting him. I think I 100% know Belal is not going to stand there and box with him. He says Canelo hands and all this stuff. Like we just know that's not going to happen. Like, he's going to have to implement wrestling if he is going to have any success on the feet against Jack. Like, clearly, he's not going to go out there and just have a boxing heavy game. Because I really do think if he just goes out there and doesn't shoot a single takedown, I just think he's going to get chinned. I do. I just think he's going to get put out really early, like he was against Vicente Luque in the first fight. But other factors now. Let's talk about Jack. because I've talked a lot about Belal. Obviously, Belal is very good. I would argue he's got one of the. He's like a top three UFC resume when it comes to welterweight. I'd say it probably goes like George St. Pierre, Usman, and then honestly, Belal really is up there already. Like I'm not gonna shit on Belal. Like as a fighter, he's extraordinarily done stuff while being very ordinary. I want to say not as in like his cardio or his heart will to win. That's elite. Like his heart, I will say, is elite. The guy doesn't quit. So I'm not going to disrespect Belal. He's a champion. He is a bad motherfucker. Whether you like it or not, Belal is a bad motherfucker. I know it's crazy to say because he doesn't really damage people out there, but he takes a lot of damage. He's got a decent chin, but he can be put out. He has been put out before. He's actually got a very weirdly inconsistent chin because he's taken so much damage, but it's weird that he can eat all this stuff, but like obviously Luque brutally chins him in the first fight, but then in the second he gets hit a lot by Luque. Gets hurt in that fight, of course, but doesn't get put out. Like it just blows my mind, to be honest with you, that Bilal's chin like is being able to take all this damage from like Neil. Like Neil really badly beat him every single round. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to Jack. Let's talk about Jack. Now, people are going to talk about that Basil Alves fight. I know they are. Split decision, it doesn't tell the whole story. That was bullshit. It was a bullshit split decision. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, okay? It's a very similar fight to Belal. Now, I'm not saying Basil Fez is as good as Belal, but even like the reach is the same reach. Older, obviously, Belal, but is very similar to Belal in some ways, but he's also got better. I would say he's got the better jiu-jitsu. He's got 4 submission wins. He's had a lot of grappling matches. He actually went to a draw with Jeremiah Wells, but I thought he won. And like he actually wrestled Jeremiah Wells, which is very impressive because Jeremiah Wells is just a big piece of muscle. So that was pretty goddamn impressive for Basil Fez. And I also think he was juiced. Like I'm just gonna straight say it. The guy came in off. He didn't come into USADA testing. They used his testing from the previous athletic commission he was fighting on in the regional scene, where they're a bit more lax. I'm not saying he was like pumping all the steroids, but I'm sure he was on some sort of supplements because his body is like it shrunk. His next 2 fights against Mickey Gall and Oben Elliott. But yeah, let's talk about it. Like let's talk about this. Basil Fez. Very similar to Belal in some ways. Obviously, he's a bit more wild with his punches. Like, he's not as technical as Belal. Doesn't have as good a cardio as Belal. But the time he fought Jack, his chin was, like, solid granite. But I think Jack sort of, like, beat the chin out of him a little bit. More athletic than Belal, I'll say. Like, he's obviously a fucking brick shithouse. Probably a bit slower than Belal, but very similar. Like he pressures forward, shoots takedowns. Not as technical, but I would say his submissions are probably better. But he didn't really have Jack in any problems with his submissions. Jack was able to get to his feet so much in that fight, which was very impressive. Because Basil Fez is a big dude. Like he's clearly a bigger guy than Belal. I want to say like Belal. I don't think he cuts too much weight to make the weight class. While Basil Fez, I don't know. He's got to be walking around at least 200 pounds, 195 pounds, something like that. I want to say Belal's probably about 186. Probably just a bit up above 15, 20 pounds above the weight limit. So nothing too crazy. I want to say, Hafez is probably at least 200 pounds for sure. And let's just talk about that fight a little bit. Basil Fez, he gets a takedown, doesn't do anything with the takedowns, can't get any damage off. And he's gassed because Jack eventually starts timing all the takedowns, starts beating up his body, is piecing him up. And he's the same height as Belal too. Or maybe he's a bit taller. No, he's the same height. This is literally the perfect fight. And people say, oh, well, Basil Fez won that fight 2-1. He absolutely didn't. People just say that because people, for some reason, hate Jack Della Maddalena. He's one of the most overhated fighters. I don't get it. He's a nice guy, for fuck's sake. Like, he's a very nice guy. I'm not just saying this because I'm from Perth, because I'm Australian. But he's actually a generally good guy. I don't know why all these people hate him so much. He's an entertaining fighter too. But people want to say, oh, it was a split decision. Like, yeah, it was a split decision, but like, Jack clearly won. And you could argue the first round went to Jack on damage. I'm not going to say that because there wasn't too much damage. But the second round, clear Jack, third round, 10-8 Jack. Like, that third round should have been a 10-8. Like, I thought Jack won that fight 29-27. Like, the third round was his best round. He is a 5 round fighter. I know it's crazy to say about a guy who hasn't fought 5 rounds. Well, he's fought in 5 round fights, but he's never made it to the fourth and fifth. I think he's going to look better in the fourth and fifth rounds. Because he's a fighter who like sort of builds into the fight a little bit. He can just knock people out in the first round, obviously, as we've seen when he first came to the UFC. 4 first round finishes when he first came in. But I really could see Belal maybe having some success. Jack keeps getting back to his feet, starts mixing up the body shots. And then eventually Belal is like just gassed. He's taken so much damage. He just gets beaten up. And I don't know. I can just see it where Jack just like really like comes forward and just puts some punishment on Belal. Really badly beats him up. Belal's obviously going to keep shooting and shooting, but I think that is going to be to his detriment because I think he will eventually gas because Jack will just keep getting back up and he will just land damage while the fight's on the feet. While the fight's on the feet, he is going to be landing big damage to Belal's nose. It's a big target. You know, how can you miss Belal Muhammad's nose? Both of their noses are broken, but like Belal Muhammad's got a fucking honker on him. I think he'll be able to. Yeah, it's not going to be something he can't miss, is what I'm saying. Like I think Jack is going to be able to land that jab on Belal's nose quite a lot. I think he's going to really badly. I think he's going to re-break Belal Muhammad's nose. Belal's going to be breathing through the mouth. Jack's going to be mixing it up to the body, and I think eventually he's going to get Belal Muhammad out of there. But I also want to talk about the Gilbert Burns fight real quick as well. That fight is one of the most exaggerated performances I've ever seen from Gilbert Burns. Like, he was dominating Jack. He was destroying him for 3 rounds. He was not. He just clearly wasn't. I thought Jack clearly won the first round. I really don't see how people can think otherwise. Gilbert Burns got a takedown, did nothing with it, but Jack was like piecing him up on the feet, landing shots, just very calm, cool, collected pace. And he was piecing him up on the feet. Like, Burns did nothing. And I could even argue the second round went to Jack. Jack clearly outlanded Burns, but Burns did land a big elbow in the second round. But he got him down, but he did nothing with it. Didn't throw up any submissions. Had him in no real trouble at all. Jack has very underrated defensive jiu-jitsu. Very good get-ups. He kept getting back to his feet. Even the third round, Burns didn't land a single strike. And there was people saying, well, Burns was winning that fight before Jack got the finish in the third round. People say Burns was winning the third round. Jack had him hurt in the third round. Burns just held him on the ground and didn't land a single strike. The scoring criteria is damage, and Jack always does damage. If the judges didn't hate Jack so much, I feel like Jack would be people, if they didn't see the split decision against Holland, the split decision against Hafez, I thought Holland versus JDN was 30-27 Jack. I don't understand how people can even come from that fight and think, oh man, I thought Holland won that fight. I don't understand it at all. And that's against a tough matchup because 80-inch reach. Jack's got a 73-inch reach, and he'll still be able to neutralize the reach, still be able to just win a pure striking fight is crazy, but Jack's just that level of a boxer. And also, people always say, oh, he went to a split with Kevin Holland, but they don't care that Jeff Neal got knocked out by Kevin Holland. That Jeff Neal beat the absolute shit out of Belal Muhammad. I know that's MMA math, but do people not realize these things? Yes, it was technically a split decision, but it was a clear win. Jeff Neal got absolutely smoked by Kevin Holland when they fought on the regional scene. Yes, he's probably improved since then, but he absolutely smoked him and chinned him. Didn't even hurt Della once in that fight. And I guess you could say Della didn't hurt Holland, but he still gave him a bit of a boxing masterclass. I don't understand. I fucking don't hate. I don't understand it. People just hate Jack. But the Burns fight, when he did get him down, Jack is going to be a lot more cautious to get to his feet because Burns is a world champ. I think he was a world champion in jiu-jitsu. He's got a very good jiu-jitsu accolades. I'm not saying he's like the Gordon Ryan or the Craig Jones of jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying he's that level, but he has very good jiu-jitsu. Obviously, Jack has to be careful to not give his back up so Burns doesn't jump on his back, get a rear naked or anything like that. Against Belal, he doesn't really have to worry like he would against Gilbert Burns. He can be a lot more, jump back up to his feet a lot more. He doesn't really have to worry about too much. Like he's not gonna get submitted. He's not gonna get brutally ground and pounded. Now Burns, Belal had really good ground and pound against Wonderboy. That has to be mentioned. He almost got Wonderboy out of there at one point, but he didn't end up getting him out of there. Of course, he ended up surviving. And in this fight, I think Belal will probably get some takedowns, but I think Jack's going to get jumped right back up to his feet, and he's just going to start beating Belal up. I think he's going to land a lot of big shots on Belal. Belal's going to say he's going to strike, but I think Belal's going to shoot a takedown within the first 10 seconds or something. I don't think he's going to stand there and trade. And once he gets in the pocket, I think he's going to get badly hurt. And I think Jack's going to hurt Belal to the body. I think Belal's going to go to panic shoot. I think he's going to get caught with an uppercut. I don't know. I just see Belal's either going to go to shoot in or something. Jack's going to load up an uppercut. He's going to badly hurt him. Maybe drop him. Maybe Jack around and pounds him. Or he's going to get rocked, knocked down, get back up. I think Jack's going to unload against him on the fence. I think he's going to put Belal Muhammad out of there. That's just how I have this fight going. Obviously, Belal is a champion. I'm not saying it's going to be like easy work. But I don't know. I just see it being a tough matchup for Belal. People think this is like easy, cut and dry. Like Belal gets takedown, Belal wins. Like it's not like that. Belal is not Habib. Even the Leon Edwards fight. The Leon Edwards fight is one of the most overhyped performances of all time. Belal Muhammad didn't dominate Leon Edwards. It was 3-2 to Belal. It was a fucking 48-47 performance. Belal's meant to be this great cardio machine that everyone says, oh, he's best cardio in the UFC, bro. He was getting badly beaten in the 5th round, cut open, getting elbowed. And that's against Leon Edwards, who's a quitter. This is not the Leon Edwards. This is not Leon Edwards. This is Jack Della Maddalena, who doesn't quit, who is going for finishes. Yes, Leon Edwards got the 5th round KO against Usman, but that was like a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. That's not happening most times out of 10 for Leon Edwards when he's down in a fight. But, he almost did it. He almost got Belal out of there. Like, he was hurting him badly, opening him up cuts, was elbowing him over and over again. And that cut's also going to be there for Jack. I could see Jack elbowing him, opening him up early, splitting him open with a jab. Like, I just see this being a horrible, horrible time for Belal Muhammad. I think he's going to go in there very cocky. I think he's going to say, all I got to do is wrestle. You got taken down by Hafez. You got taken down by Burns. Burns had one arm against Belal Muhammad, and he couldn't finish him. Jack Della Maddalena had one arm against Gilbert Burns, and he knocked him the fuck out. This is like they're like different levels of animal. Yes, they both got crazy heart. Jack's got crazy heart. Belal's got crazy heart, but Jack's got a crazy killer in him, and Belal doesn't have that killer in him. And I will stand by that. I think Jack is a guy who is willing to die in there, as is Belal. But the only difference is I think Jack is willing to kill in there, while Belal I don't think he has the capacity to kill somebody in there unless you had like 40 rounds or something like that. Maybe you'd eventually like be able to kill them, but even then, his cardio is not that great. Like it is overstated a little bit, but like, I don't know. He'd need like 40 minutes, and like his opponent would need to have like a heart attack for him to kill him. Well, Jack can actually go in there, and he is willing to kill. Like look what he did to Burns. He wasn't stopping. Burns was out from that knee, and Dan Mergliotta just let him elbow him over and over again. Like, Jack would have just done it. He could have gone full Omni-Man from, is it Mr. Invisible or The Invisibles? That movie, that show they have, where he's like, there's like a scene where he's beating the crap out of his son on the planet. He just ground and pound over and over again. Like, Jack would have just kept going until Burns is nothing but mush in the canvas. Like that's the killer mindset this guy's got, and I really liked it in the fight against Belal Muhammad. And the thing is, Belal Muhammad could be winning. He could win the first 2 rounds, but Jack is going to be there. He's going to have 3 rounds afterwards to try and knock him out and land big damage, which I love. I love it. I love this fight for Jack. And Jack, this is like a short notice fight where Jack didn't have any time to prepare. He's had like 2 months. He's going to be fully prepared. He was already training for Leon Edwards. He was in great shape. I was hearing he was looking very good for that camp. He was looking improved. I'm very excited to see how this fight goes. Like, this is a guy who had a broken arm against Burns and still came back to KO him. He's going to go in there and he's going to try and take Belal Muhammad's head off. He's going to be so motivated for this fight. I'm so excited. I think Jack's going to get him out of there. But yeah, this is why I think Jack Della Maddalena will beat Belal Muhammad. I need to do a full breakdown for this fight because I've been watching the tape the whole time since this fight got announced. I was like watching the tape. I watched both their fights back and everything, and I'm just so confident Jack's going to win this fight. But Belal Muhammad's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing him as a champion. He's a legit guy. He's an elite fighter. But I think Jack's going to get him out of there. And Belal said he was going to retire if he lost to Leon. That tells me that he doesn't really have much left. While he's got hard and everything, I think he's not he's won the belt. I think he could be content with that. I think if he takes some damage in this fight, he's going to be like, you know what, I've got my belt. I'm in the history books. He has not been champion. He's going in there with a crazy mindset. He's been out for a year. He's wanting to inflict damage on people. I actually like the break from him as well. Because Jack was so active. He was doing so many weight cuts, did back-to-back weight cuts the year before. And just to have a year off, I actually think that's good for a young fighter. Because that's also something that's worth mentioning. He's 8 years younger than Belal. And he's going to be like you could argue Jack's not even fully in his prime yet. Like that's a scary prospect, and yeah, I actually like the time off for Jack. Like I like it more than for an aging fighter like Belal because Belal is aging, he's getting older. Jack's barely in his prime, or not even in his prime yet. I like that a lot. Like I like that a lot that he's taking time off. Obviously, it's because he had to, but his body's going to be like 100%. He's going to be fully healed. He's going to have no nagging injuries or anything like that. He's going to go in there fully rejuvenated, and I think he's going to put on a really good performance. But anyway, that's just my prediction. Obviously, who knows what can happen in a fight, but I'm going Jack Della Maddalena to win this fight. Let me know who you guys have. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Have a good one.